Nines are bad. Sevens are a curse. Only the eight could be worse on Card Sharks. And here's the host of Card Sharks, Jim Perry.
Hello there. Welcome to Card Sharks. Thank you. You are very kind. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for joining us at home for Card Sharks. That's a nice way to start the day, and a very inventive opening poem. I really like that, taking advantage of the way the game is played. It was sent in by Eli Lazarus of Brookline, Massachusetts. Thank you, Eli, for a fine poem. And now, let's get to the cards. Dennis and Ann, start loading in the cards, if you will, while we meet our players on Card Sharks. Mary Erickson, our champion. Hi, Mary. Good to see you again. Would you remind us about yourself?
Yes, my name is Mary Erickson.
I didn't know that.
Yes.
Oh.
I'm from Renton, Washington, currently living in Covina. I was married on April Fool's Day of this year, and I'm just laying around the pool sunning myself.
You don't have any tan, Mary.
It's a tan for Washington.
Oh, okay. Nice to see you again, Mary. You've won $900. And our challenger, Nubar Zaytounian. Hello, Nubar. Good to see you.
My name is Nubar Zaytounian. I was born and raised in Alexandria, Egypt. I live in West Los Angeles. I own and operate a health food store.
A health food store?
Right.
Do you eat the health foods?
Well, I try not to eat too much. I'm trying to go on a diet.
Oh, can you put on weight with a health food?
Oh, you sure can, with the yogurt and fruits and...
Okay. Good to have you both here, and good luck to both of you. Each player has a deck of 52 playing cards, shuffled and cut before we go on the air. Mary, the champion, plays the red cards. Nubar, the challenger, plays the lower cards, the blue cards. But before you can begin calling high-low on the cards, you must win a high-low toss-up question. We play the best 2 out of 3. As time ran out, Nubar, the challenger, won the first game in $100. Mary needs this game in our best 2 out of 3 match. Mary, as we left off, the question goes to you. We asked 100 men, if you were barbecuing hamburgers for you and your dinner guests, and you discovered your dog licking one of the hamburger patties, would you eat that one yourself or serve it to your guests? How many men said they would serve the hamburger patty to one of their guests?
Well, I'd throw it out, but...
At the price of meat?
Well, hamburger?
Oh, you haven't been shopping lately, Mary.
No, we go out. But I wouldn't eat it myself. Yuck. But they don't know, so what they don't know isn't going to hurt them. So I would say that 54 would serve it to their guests. 54
would serve it to one of their guests, Nubar.
Well, when I invite people, I have great respect for them, and I wouldn't like to give them that hamburger. So I think it's going to be lower.
Lower.
Right.
If it's lower, you go to the board first.
Right.
If not, it'll be Mary. The actual number of men who would serve the hamburger patty to their guests rather than eat it themselves is 60. Lower, Mary. And Mary, we'll take a look at your base card. You've got a 9.
I'd like to change that, please.
Yes, anytime you win the question, you have the right to change the base card to a 10. A little better card.
That's better. I'm going to say the next card is lower.
Lower than a 10. And it is. It's a 5.
Great. I'll continue and say the next card is higher.
Risking that one and this one higher than a 5. It is a 7. Now remember, you can freeze.
I'm going to freeze right there.
We move the freeze bar over. Can't take those cards away from you. And, of course, you've kept Nubar away from his cards. Nubar, we did a nationwide survey of 100 mothers of 16-year-old boys. And we asked them, have you ever found any naughty magazines in your son's room? How many mothers said they found naughty magazines in their 16-year-old son's room?
Well, I think most kids at the age of 16, they get started with that stuff. And most mothers, they like to check what their sons have. So I think it's going to be about 78.
78 found naughty magazines, Mary.
Well, I think that, yeah, young men like to learn. So I'm going to say the number's higher.
Figure that's a good way to learn, Mary?
Well, you can never, what's to hurt?
Oh, okay. The actual number of mothers who had found naughty magazines in their son's room is 43. It's not higher. Nubar. And we'll take a look at your base card. You've got a queen.
I'm going to keep that card. The next card will be lower.
Lower than a queen? We know it's not a queen. It is not lower. That gives Mary a chance to play off the 7. You can't change it. You got to call this one, Mary.
The next card is higher.
Higher than a 7.
All
no,
right.
it's a 4. Couldn't take advantage of it. And we'll fill in the spaces. The next question to you, Mary. We asked 100 people in Nashville, Tennessee. Prayers are not permitted in public schools. Do you think the law should be changed to allow prayers in schools? How many people in Tennessee felt prayers should be allowed in public schools?
Well, they can always send their kids to a religious school if they really want them. So I still don't think very many of them would want it. I'm going to only say 32.
32. Higher or lower, Newbar?
Well, I think in Tennessee, they're more religious concerned than most other places. I think it's going to be higher.
Higher than that. The actual number of people who felt prayers should be allowed in public schools is 80.
All right.
Higher, Newbar. Wow. And we're looking at a queen.
It's going to be lower.
You're going to keep the queen lower. It is
Right.
4.
The next card is higher.
Continuing higher than a 4.
All
A
right.
5.
I'm going to go. It's higher.
Higher than a 5, risking those cards. And this one
All
again
right.
is with a king.
I can't lose. Lower.
If this is lower, we have a new champion on Card Sharks, and we do. Yes. Congratulations. Fine win. Mary, thank you. You're a delight.
Thank you. It was great fun.
Good, and you're leaving us with $900.
Yes, not bad.
Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
Come on, Newbar. Congratulations again.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good job. Good job. We'll play the money cards where Newbar can win thousands right after we take time out for this commercial message. Newbar Zirconian. Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
Then let's open the board and get to the money cards. Come on up there, Newbar. Well, you want $200 in the game. That's yours to keep. Now we're going to give you new money to play with, and this time you're going to bet that money. We'll start you on the bottom line with $200 and these 3 cards. When you move up to the second level, we add another $200 of betting money, 3 more cards. Your minimum bets are $50 till you get to that top card, the big bet, and there you must bet at least half the money. There's a lot of money up there, Newbar. Hope you're going to take it.
I'm going to do it.
Here's $200. And as in the game, we give you a choice of 2 base cards, and we start with a 3. Good bet.
That's good. I'm going to bet the whole thing. It's going to be higher.
Right away. $200. Higher than a 3. And it
All
is
right.
with a 5. You're up to $400 with a 5.
I got to go. 400, it's going to be higher.
Oh, the whole thing again.
Right.
$400. Higher than a 5.
All
and it
right.
is with a 6. 800 and a 6.
I'm going to bet 200, it's going to be higher.
$200. Higher than a 6.
All
Yes,
right.
king. And you took the bottom line with $1,000, Newbar. We move the king up. $200 more in betting money. You got $1,200 and a king.
I'm going to bet the whole thing. It's going to be lower.
All or nothing now. Nothing or $2,400 lower than a king. Yes! Now, kind of a middle card, Newbar, with $2,400 and a 7.
I don't like 7s. I'm going to bet $200. It's going to be higher.
$200. Higher than a 7. Oh, another 7. You lose 200 and you're still looking at a 7 with $2,200, Newbar.
I don't like 7s again. 200, it's going to be higher.
Let's do it this time. $200. Higher than a 7.
All
Yes,
right.
the queen. Now, big decision time, Newbar, as we move the queen up. You must bet $1,200. You can bet more. You've got $2,400 and a queen.
All of it. It's going to be lower.
The whole thing. All or nothing. Risking $2,400, you will have nothing or $4,800. If this is lower than a queen, that's a way to do it.
Thank you.
That's a way to do it. Come on down here. That's terrific. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're a gutsy man.
I felt I was lucky. I kept it up.
And with the $200 in the game, you won that first game at around $5,000. We'll be right back right after this. Again, let's load up the cards with 2 brand new decks of cards, and we'll meet our next challenger on Card Sharks. Milda Yodelay. Hello, Milda. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Why don't you tell us about yourself?
My name is Milda Yodelay. I'm currently attending Cal State Northridge, trying to determine whether I want to study law or marine biology. I'm a native Californian, and I work part-time in a supermarket.
That's an unusual first name, Milda. Where did that come from?
My parents are both Lithuanian, and it's not very common, but...
It's a very pretty name. It suits
Thank
you.
you.
Good to have you here, Milda. You'll play the lower cards, the blue cards, while Nubar, the champion, plays the upper cards, the red cards. Starting with a question to you, Nubar. We asked 100 women executives. These are all women who are vice presidents of corporations. Are you earning as much money as a man in your position would? How many women executives said they were not earning as much money as a man in their position?
Well, I think women have come a long way, but they're not quite where they belong. I think they don't earn as much as men. I think it's going to be about, I say about 28.
20. The question is, how many were not earning as much money as a man?
How many will not earn?
How many are not earning as much money as a man in that position?
Oh, I say 80.
80.
Right.
Switching the other way. Okay. 80 and 28 is 100, isn't it? Milda, higher or lower?
I'm going to say, well, I think if they knew about it, somebody would get in trouble because it's discrimination. So I'm going to say it's going to be lower than 80.
Ah, okay. Interesting thinking there. The actual number of women executives who said they were not earning as much money as a man in their position is 62. It's lower, Milda. Yes. That's very interesting. It's 62, but still a majority of those ladies felt that they were not being dealt with correctly. Milda, you're looking at a jack.
I think Jack will be lucky for me. I'll go ahead and play it, and I'll say the next card's going to be lower.
Lower than a jack? It is a 5.
I think I'll risk it, and I'll play, and I'll say the next one's going to be higher.
Higher than a 5. Oh, no, round 5. It is not higher. And a break for the champion. Nubar will play a queen.
Oh, I love it. I think it's going to be lower.
Lower than a queen. It is a 9.
I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say it's going to be lower.
Lower than a 9. Yes, an 8.
Now I freeze.
Now he'll freeze, needing 2 cards. Ann will fill in the spaces for Milda. She needs 4 cards. And the question to you, Milda. We asked 100 women. For $1,000, would you go to a party wearing a Hawaiian grass skirt with nothing underneath? How many women said they would wear the grass skirt?
Oh, goodness. I don't think that many women would do that. A few would, so I'll say, 15 would do it.
15 would wear a grass skirt with nothing underneath for $1,000.
I think women are... I think it's going to be a little higher.
Higher. The actual number of women who for $1,000 would go to a party wearing a grass skirt with nothing underneath is 32. It's higher. Nubar. Do you want that 8?
I'm going to change it.
Changing the 8 to an 8. Great change.
I can't lose. It's going to be lower.
Well, you could if it's another ace. Lower than an ace. It's a queen.
Lower.
For the first game of the match, lower than a queen. Yes, for the jack, and he's done it. Game number 1 to the champion. The champion's on a roll. Can he keep it up? We'll find out right after this. Don't go away. Arzatunian as the first game of the match. And $100. Milda, you need this one. We'll set up for the next game with the same 2 decks of cards. Nubar, we asked 100 college fraternity men. If you knew a student were a homosexual, would you object to him joining your fraternity? How many fraternity men said yes, they would object?
Well, fraternity men, they're very macho. They really control who gets in, so I think it's going to be pretty high. I think about...
How many will object?
Will object. I say it will be about 82 will object.
Now, you said they're macho. I may be reading you wrong. The question is, if you knew a student were a homosexual, would you object to him joining? Oh, I see. You say 82 would object.
Right.
Thank you, Nubar. Right. I'm sorry. I misunderstood you. Milda, he says 82. Higher or lower?
That's a good guess. I'm going to say maybe they've loosened up a little. I'm going to guess that it's a little lower.
You say lower than that.
A little lower.
The actual number of fraternity men who would object to a homosexual joining their fraternity is 87, not lower. Nubar. indeed. I'm sorry I misunderstood you there for a new bar for a moment. We got it right, and your base card is a 5. You want it?
I think I'll change it.
You must play this one. It is
All
a
right.
4.
A little better. It's going to be higher.
Higher than a 4? Yes,
All right.
with an 8.
I'm going to freeze.
Freezing it right there. And the next question goes to you, Milda. We asked 100 men, would you rather be stranded on a desert island with a beautiful woman who wanted to make love all the time, or with 6 beautiful women who wanted to make love all the time?
Oh, no.
Didn't expect that, did you?
No,
How many men said they'd rather be stranded with 6 beautiful women?
I don't know if many men could handle 6 women at once. I'm going to say it's pretty low. I'll say 20 of them are macho enough to go for
20.
Yeah.
What do you mean most of them couldn't handle it? She says 20, Nubar. Higher or lower?
Well, I think variety is the spice of life sometimes. So I'll say it's going to be higher.
Say higher than that.
Right.
You figure it's possible to have a meaningful relationship with 6 women, huh? Okay.
That's right.
The actual number of ambitious women who would rather be stranded with 6 beautiful women who wanted to make love all the time than 1 is 53. It's higher.
I'm going to change that card.
Well, I can understand why it's higher because they still get Sunday off, right?
Right.
You want to change that 8. Okay. You're changing it to a jack.
Right. It's going to be lower.
Lower than a jack?
All
yes,
right.
with a 2.
It's going to be higher.
Higher than a 2.
All
A 3,
right.
still a low card.
Higher.
This is higher. He retains the championship for the win. Yes! And Newbar's done it again. Congratulations, Matilda. Thank Matilda. When I get out. Milda, I'm sorry. Thank you for joining. We have some nice party gifts today.
Always loads of fun. Thank you.
Thanks for being here, Milda. Come on down here, Newbar. Well, you said you were going to be down here again.
I feel lucky.
That's the way to feel. We'll be right back with our champion right after we take time out for this. We are back with our champion. Let's set up for the money cards with a brand new deck of cards. And Janice will load them in, $200 on the bottom line. You're going to have a total of 7 cards. You know they can add up to thousands of dollars. I must say, while Janice is putting those cards in there, I got nervous about those 6 women. I think on the recap I said 6 women with 6 men. I don't know what I said, but we got the money cards set up. Good luck, Newbar.
Thank you.
$200. And a choice of 2 base cards. You start with an 8. Do you want it?
I'll change that card.
You must play this one a 3.
All right.
Good card.
I'll bet $200 it's going to be higher.
Right away, the whole thing. $200, higher than a 3. Oh,
All
big
right. I'll bet the whole thing is going to be lower.
$400, lower than an ace. Yes,
All
with a
right.
king. $800,
The whole thing lower.
lower than a king for $800. A queen, that is. $1,600. Up goes the queen. We add the 200. You've got $1,800.
The whole thing is going to be lower.
Again in all, $1,800 lower than a queen.
All
Yes,
right.
with a jack. We're going down the line.
I'm going to bet $3,000. It's going to be lower.
$3,000 lower than a jack. No. No, a lot of face cards, but you still have $600 and 2 cards to go with a queen, Newbar.
I'll bet the whole thing it's going to be lower.
Lower than a queen for $600.
All
Yes,
right.
that time we've got it. 1,200 with a 3. You must bet 600. You can bet more. You've got 12, Newbar.
I'll bet the whole thing it's going to be higher.
All or nothing. For $2,400 higher than a 3, and he did it. And again, the champion makes a great comeback. Boy, come on, Newbar. Sensational.
Thank you. Thank you. It was great.
Not a bad day's work because Newbar finished up the day with $7,600. Thank you for joining us. Have a most pleasant weekend. We'll see you on Monday on Card Shark. Bye-bye for now.